Welcome back to Have You Met Her Yet? Today I have Nicole Goulding with me from Chic by Nicole.
Hi guys.
Thank you so much for joining me. So I would love it if you can share with us a little bit more about yourself. So who you are, what you do, and how did you get to where you currently are in your career?
Absolutely. So first of all, thanks for having me, Lindsay.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
So who am I? I am a child of parents who had 10 kids. Not necessarily with both my mother and my father. So I'm the youngest of 10, essentially. I am a typical youngest, I think they would call me. So I like what I like, and I usually get what I like. So my family would love to say, but I work really hard. I've always been a hard worker. In high school, I had 3 jobs at one point. Yeah,
Wow.
you're not. Yeah, in high school. So I've always been the person who has a full-time job and a side hustle, whatever the case may be. So how this came about, throughout the years, I've always, done a lot of planning for friends and family. And I plan like baby showers and that kind of stuff. And people used to say, oh, you should plan events. I was like, yeah, okay, girl, whatever. And I think what actually happened, what kind of propelled me to where I am now, is me planning my own wedding. I remember, going through different wedding planners because I did want a day of coordinator, and I was like, I'm not paying that. So
Right,
I kind of
right.
all on by myself, and it was easy. I think the guest management was the hardest part of my wedding, but everything else came so naturally to me. On the day of the wedding, everybody's like, oh, it looks beautiful. They tell every bride that, of course. But I felt that I was at a point where, you know what, maybe this is something I should be doing on the side. Maybe it's something I'd be good at for other people. So that's really what started about 5 years ago, my journey into wedding planning and becoming a wedding designer as well.
Amazing. That's so cool how it started with your own wedding and just kind of branched from there.
Yeah.
And I mean, clearly it's something that you naturally were skilled at. If you had other people, asking you to help plan their stuff and they knew that you had that skill and that talent and et cetera. So that's so cool that you've made a career out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was really me being extra in everything I do, wanting to, make personalized chocolate bars for my best friend's baby shower, or
Oh,
going the extra mile. So it really helped kind of propel me to where I am now. Like, absolutely.
very, very cool. And so when you started the company, what else were you doing? Did you just stop working altogether and only focus on that? Was this a side hustle? Like, can you start a little bit more about what that looked like for you?
Yeah, for sure. So it actually still is a side hustle. I work full time. I work full time in social media PR, and I do this part time, which it's kind of more like 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I actually started, I was working full time, doing something very similar in the same vein. And I decided to start really slowly by taking on a couple clients per year, kind of filling it out, seeing if this is something I really wanted to do. Um,
Right.
Now we kind of max out at around 8 to 10 weddings, depending on what kind of services we're providing. And that is a full year for me. That is me working
Wow.
full time at my full time job and full time at wedding planning at the same time. So.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. And has it ever been something that you've wanted to branch out to be more than a side hustle, or are you kind of enjoying the flexibility and balancing kind of a few different things?
Yeah, it's funny because I think I'm probably the only person who does not want to be a wedding planner and designer full time.
Wow.
Everybody always wants to turn their part time into full time, but I actually love what I do full time. I went to school for it, so I find myself to be very lucky because we get to kind of pick and choose the clients that we service every year. I mean, we get to be selective because I only do this part time, right? I'm not
Right.
every week. And then as well, I get to kind of get a break from that and kind of go into the world of PR when it comes to my full-time job in social media. So it's a perfect balance for me.
That's really, really cool. I mean, I definitely know sometimes that I can get lost in my own business. And so for me, I have a few other things that just keep my interest going. Like I do background work in film and television on the side. And then I also take care of dogs here and there. And all of those things like help with my interest. And it helps me not to just be like in my company and like end up resenting the company because I have a few other things going. So it's nice that that is something that you're doing as well.
Yeah, and I think it's great for me because it allows me to still enjoy it. I'm not saying full-time planners don't enjoy what they do, a lot of them do, but when
Yeah.
it's more like this is your bread and butter, you have to get it done. It's not for me, it wouldn't be as enjoyable. So I kind of get the best of both worlds essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can definitely see your full-time job bleeding into your Instagram account and your web presence because you have such a stunning social
Thank
media feed and
you.
your captions are always brilliant. And oh my gosh, if I didn't already have and plan my wedding, like your Instagram account would just be my vision board. Like your Instagram account is just so stunning and glamorous. I love it.
Thank you. I mean, I try my best to infuse my personality into wedding planning, which isn't something a lot of people do. They think you should like, be all business 100% of the time. I'll put
Right.
rap lyrics, I'll, put everything, but I'll put the little stars in there,
Yeah.
just kind of keep it real and kind of show what my real personality is. And I think clients appreciate that. The clients who come to me anyways really do appreciate that I kind of show what I love, because
Yeah.
some of my Instagram is fashion. Some of
Yeah.
it's not even weddings, but fashion, interior decor, that all ties into me. So it's just like an extension of myself. So thank you so much. I appreciate your compliment.
Yeah, and I do think that's something that sets you apart as well. And I think it probably gives people a glimpse of what working with you will look like too, which I think is really important for a past bride to have someone know, you know exactly the personality you're gonna speak with and work with, and even being inspired by that, like you hope that that's what you're gonna get from that relationship in your work as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, other than that, is there anything else that you feel sets you apart as a wedding planner?
What sets me apart? I think I think in general, when it comes to my motto for brides and grooms, it's really like throw out the traditions in a sense.
Right.
When I actually talk to brides and grooms, they're always super worried about, oh, what's this person going to say? Do I have to do the garter toss? Do I have to do this? And I
Right.
always try to let them know that it's your day and do whatever, makes you happy. When I got married 5 years ago, I had an intimate wedding essentially. I had 68 people. And
Wow.
was tough. It was tough to bring down my guest list. People were having 200, 250 person weddings.
Yeah.
So I really was like the champion for my own kind of motto. You happy for your
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah.
I think a lot of planners do tell their brides and grooms that as well. But I really try to emphasize like, you don't want a cake, you want donuts, do it. Do you want apple pies? Do it. Do you want soup for dinner? Do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. And I do think that's important that you push that on people planning their day because it's really easy to be influenced by everyone who is involved. The opinions that you get, the experiences, oh my gosh, it's really hard to stick to your dream and vision. It's nice that you do stress that and say, hey, if you want something untraditional, if you want something that is you and your personality, like go for it.
Yeah, I think it's really important that, wedding planners, wedding designers, that we're champions for the bride and the groom, or the
Yeah,
groom, bride, and the bride. I mean, there's going to be so many people asking them to do things that are out of their comfort zone and they really don't want to do. So
right.
you really have to be a champion for what they want and kind of push them and say, it's okay to have the day that you want,
Yeah.
100%. Mhm.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And so with this company, are you a one woman show? Do you have a team? Like, how does that work?
So I do have a team. The team usually steps in at the end of the process when it comes to assisting on the day of. I do have a lead planner who will help me with meetings, etc., and will do like a lot of the research work for me. But whenever I'm emailing clients, whenever I'm talking to somebody, having that kind of discussion, talking about logistics, 100% of the time it's me.
Yep.
Um, I am at a point where I probably should have somebody else doing that kind of stuff, but it's really hard to let it go on top of
Oh, yeah.
it's like your brand, right? So yeah, so not necessarily a one woman show, but kind of a one woman show at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I completely understand that. It's taken me up into this year to find the beauty of delegating other things and letting other people do it because it's true, it's really hard to let it go when it's your own thing. It's really scary to give someone a task when you're like, oh, I could maybe do it better, or I could do it this way. And, you like things the way that you like them done. But there is something about delegating and giving people some of that load so you don't have to carry so much and you can focus on the things that you actually enjoy doing in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. I took a really good course at this thing called Wedding MBA, and it's kind of like a wedding convention for wedding
Oh,
professionals
wow.
around the world. And we had somebody talking about hiring interns and how it's great to have your interns do work that you don't necessarily need
Yes.
to be doing. Like my venue searches, a lot of times I'll give that to, an assistant to do, or, just like menial Google Drive tasks. Can you move this over? Can you,
Yes.
onto this really quickly? That kind of stuff, 100%. But when it comes to
Yep.
design, I think I'm always going to be the go-to for that. It's just my brand, and that's what people come to me for. So I have to be a little bit
Right.
careful with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's incredible. It's so good to know those things. And like you said, just like getting people to do little tasks that you don't have to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, what is something that has, like, since you started your own business, have you had a professional mentor or like a group of other business owners or entrepreneurs that you go to for help or to advice?
Yeah, so luckily what happened was when I started my business, I became certified by the Wedding Planners Institute of Canada, literally like 6 months after. So really through there is where I developed a network of wedding professionals that I would kind of hit up and say, hey, like Wendy, what do you think about this? That person, what do you think about that? So that's really where I started branching out, not necessarily having a mentor, but having people that I could kind of bounce ideas off of. Because, you know,
Right.
I can talk to my friends 1,000 times a day about clients, and they're like, yeah, okay, well, but they
Yeah.
really were in it like I'm in it. So
Yes.
that association really, really helped me get a group of wedding professionals around me who do the exact same thing in similar markets.
Yes.
And I can kind of bounce ideas off of 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I know finding a group of other business owners or entrepreneurs has been really important for me as well because I know there's been many times where I've looked to people who aren't business owners, who aren't entrepreneurs, and I just haven't gotten the right advice and sometimes I feel discouraged. But when you're able to speak with someone else who's been through it, maybe they have experience with that exact situation. They can give you a different outlook on that, or they can just encourage you, right? I mean, it's great to speak with someone who knows like what you need to do to either like risk or like try something new. So yeah, I completely agree that that's great that you have that network of other planners as well who's been through it.
Yeah, and I think it's also great to have dissenting opinions, like to sometimes be like,
Yes.
I wouldn't do it that way. And I'm like, I think I'm going to stick to this way, just to
Yeah.
see other people based on their personality run their businesses and see, the different mistakes they might make that I might make or whatever the case may be and bounce that all off of each other. It's beautiful. It's a really nice thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So is there any advice that you'd give to someone who wanted to start wedding planning or who wants to start their own business that you've learned?
Yeah, I definitely think network your butt off. Meet other wedding professionals. We have this amazing thing now called Instagram. I'm not saying to harass people, but, slide in the DMs, introduce yourself.
Yes. Yep.
Comment on their content. They will start looking at your page to see who you are.
Yep.
Networking, I think, is the first step. And then interning, like actually working with a wedding planner, a wedding designer, and seeing what they do day to day. If you watch the movies, you think all we do is light candles and flick our hair. It's not that at all. Our job is so far from glamorous 99% of the time. So kind of
Yeah.
in the trenches and seeing exactly what it's like will give you like a good headway as well as some experience, right? When you're
Yeah.
ready to
Yeah.
start doing things. So those would be like the two main pieces of advice I definitely give.
Amazing. Amazing. And do you have a resource or something that's really helped you that you would recommend to anyone to use?
Yeah, I would say get certified through the Wedding Planners Institute of Canada. There's
Okay.
other organizations, but for me, it's been fantastic. They have online classes, they have classes in person. They also now have design classes, style shoot classes. So definitely a resource I would suggest because we also have forums where you can kind of go online and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? and just get different people from different walks of life kind of responding and letting you know their thoughts as well. So networking.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I owe so much to networking as well, and just meeting other people and connecting with other people who, and it's brought me friendships, clients, referrals. It's just been really, really positive for sure.
Yeah, I actually wrote an article recently on the top 3 mistakes I made as a new planner, and not networking enough is actually one of them. I can sometimes be like, I don't want to say an introvert, but I can not necessarily want to be around people sometimes, and
Right.
hide behind emails or texts or whatever the case may be. I'm the type of
Right.
person when people call me, I'm like, why are they calling me? Just text me. You know. So I think, putting yourself out there is so invaluable when it comes to referrals for clients,
Yeah.
referrals for anything. Like there's so many good things that you get from networking. It's like endless.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like you said, putting yourself outside of your comfort zone. Sometimes you just don't know what can come from that, and it's scary and hard. But once you do it, it gets easier the more you do it, for sure.
Yeah, there's only benefits, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I want to talk about obviously the pandemic and planning weddings right now. I mean, how have you been doing with that? And what has that looked like for your business? What's that look like for your clients?
Yeah.
I would love to hear a little bit more from an insider of what you've been doing to help ease what's happening right now.
So I think I think it's funny because at the beginning of the pandemic, I was telling my clients, "Oh, don't worry, July weddings will be fine. Oh, don't worry,
Mm.
August weddings will be fine. September weddings will be fine. Or in October, right?" It's been a tough year for the industry. I think restaurants, cinemas, us, like the wedding industry, we've been hit so hard. Um,
Yeah,
there's been so many different changes as the government tries to adjust and figure this thing out. And most of them are with events, right? Most of them have to do with the event industry because that's when people kind of gather together. Um,
yeah.
so for us, it looked like a lot of postponing at the beginning of the year, some cancellations. Unfortunately, I've had some clients postpone twice. So I've moved some people to 2022, not even just 2020.
Wow.
It's been slow booking new clients because people are like, I don't know what next year is going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to
Yeah.
put money into it. So it's been tough, but I think that working through it with our clients has kind of strengthened our bond as well because we're all going through this. I've mourned weddings I thought were going to be like out this year and they were going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really really tough, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And again, it's so funny what I think all of us thought this year would look like. Like I remember when everything hit, you think, oh, by June, August, everything will be great. We'll be able to travel. We'll be able to do this. We'll be able to do that. And like you said, we're in October right now, and it's still the same, if not, numbers are getting smaller again. And so, has there been any creative things that you've been doing with your clients? Like, have you actually been able to have any weddings, or have most of them been completely like changed out because they don't want a smaller size?
Yeah, so some of my clients have decided to get married regardless, and they did
Right.
like, a little, whether it's justice of the peace or something of that, like intimate affairs. So a couple
Yeah.
of things have happened. I did actually have some intimate weddings happening this year that actually got canceled because all my clients were from the States. They can't.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, I've just kind of been texting my clients on their would-be wedding day or putting something on my Instagram saying happy would-be wedding day. Next year is gonna rock. Just like a little,
Oh,
encouragement in these kind of.
yeah.
I've encouraged all my clients on the day that they're supposed to get married to do something special together, like have a date night, do something to commemorate it, and
Hmm.
be like rock stars, hopefully.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's really a great thing for people to think about, and I mean even having that idea, just thinking, that day isn't dead. You can still celebrate it. You can still have something that's like fun and memorable, and hope for when things hopefully do get better that they can have exactly what they were thinking of and what they were dreaming to do.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say is the most memorable wedding that you've planned?
Oh, um,
Like maybe a few elements or anything that maybe stood out to you?
yeah, I have a most memorable wedding. It was not necessarily because of the decor. It was more because of the guests that I had to deal
Ah,
with.
okay.
I had a wedding where the bride and groom were not from this area and they flew in to do the wedding. But some of the parentals were here. So, mother of the groom, mother of the bride, whatever the case may be. And it was a really tough wedding because there was a lot of tension. There was tension
Oh
between
no.
the mother of the groom, the mother of the bride. There was tension between the bride's brother and the groom's brother. There was tension between guests. I mean, I had a guest come up to me like with her escort card saying, "I'm not sitting beside that. You know what?" Talking about
Oh.
it and I mean, it's funny now, but on the day I was horrified at the behavior. But yeah, that definitely has to be one of my most memorable weddings. The most tension. I
Yeah.
remember I had to end up introducing the mother of the bride and the mother of the groom, like for the first,
Oh goodness.
right? Like how crazy is that? So
Yeah.
I love the couple. They are the best couple ever, but the wedding was interesting.
Yeah, there's nothing like family tension on a wedding day, that's for sure.
In a certain aspect, like either it's like, oh, I'm losing my child or whatever, but this was like literally they hated each other. So
Oh gosh.
yeah,
That's
crazy.
really hard. So when you have things like that happen during the day, like what kind of strategies do you do that help you either like calm down or avoid getting really stressed out? Like what kind of things do you do to kind of get yourself in a good headspace to handle that kind of situation?
So I have this thing where I tell my team, give me 2 minutes. So they'll give me 2 minutes. Nobody talks to me. Nobody in the bathroom and just take a deep breath. Because
Right.
listen, we're in the business of stress. Everything
Yes.
about things are stressful. Making sure the
Yeah.
food is good, making sure the temperature is right, making sure
Right.
like everything about it is stressful. So you really just have to take 2 seconds in the moment sometimes and then
Right.
kind of breathe and keep it going. I think in my
Right.
daily life, I'm pretty good at dealing with stress. So there hasn't been like a moment at a wedding where it's like been too stressful, like I couldn't deal with it. But sometimes I just need a moment, whether I'm just super tired because they're long days or there's just a lot going on. So yeah.
Right. 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 Yeah, that makes sense. Just having a quick breather.
Quick 5, like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll go into the washroom stall and not do anything but just stand there for
Yeah.
5 minutes, just take a breather where nobody can see me, and then I'm back on. And the thing with weddings, people don't understand is the planner is always on. You always have to be flicked on, right? There's no
Right.
time where
Right.
you can like take a moment and just like relax. You have to be on if guests are coming to you or vendors or whatever. So
Yeah.
you have that time to just like sit back for a minute and like take a breath and then go back out there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That completely makes sense. What would you say is the most extravagant thing you've been asked to help with or put together for a wedding?
The most extravagant thing. Okay, so I would think I would say I had a venue that was outdoors, and the couple wanted on top of lights, they wanted like flowers hung outside, so kind of hung across this area. It was about like, I don't know, a 14 by 14-foot backyard in the back of like a cabin. So
Yeah.
they wanted the flowers hanging down and they wanted the lights going across. And I had to tell them no because unfortunately, what people don't understand is like if I get hurt, like nobody is going to be there for your wedding. So there are a
Yeah.
lot of requests that we get. Sometimes they're a little bit over the top and we have to say no. But the florist was able to accommodate that request. I just wasn't. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I guess sometimes you're willing to hear out people's visions, but if it's dangerous, it's just not worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, we are a jack of all trades, but sometimes we have to kind of put a limit to it. I'm 5'3". I can't be climbing up 7-foot trees to string lights, right? Like there has to be a limit somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I have two different questions. Where is your favorite place that you've planned a wedding, and where is your dream place to plan a wedding?
Okay, my favorite place I would plan a wedding so far, I would have to say the Montreal Science Center.
Oh, cool.
It doesn't sound very nice, like it's the science, but the venue is gorgeous. It's like floor to ceiling windows
Oh,
all around.
wow.
Maybe, three of the long walls are floor to ceiling windows. So it
Mhm.
really brings in a lot of light. It's a blank space, so you can do like whatever you need to do. It's like the perfect venue to kind of build the wedding that you want. Um,
Yeah.
Dream venue would be, a mansion or an estate somewhere in England, or maybe
Oh.
somewhere like in the French countryside. That is definitely something I'm looking for in 2021 or 2022. I'd love to do a wedding there.
Oh, amazing. Well, my husband's family's from England, so I'll have to put some feelers out there for anyone getting married in the future there.
Oh,
Definitely. Okay, so the next one I had for you, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought because I was thinking about England. Um, what was I just going to say? Oh, what is one accomplishment you're extremely proud of in your company or in your career?
um, okay, yeah, I would definitely say the accomplishment this year that I'm most proud of, and it seems like something so small, but it means the world to me because of my background. I was featured on an article on Harper's Bazaar.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
like a month ago or so. And just like having my name on the Harper's Bazaar website, like I could have cried. I was
Oh, I love that.
because I've always loved fashion. I've always wanted to be at the front rows of Fashion Week. I've wanted to work at Marie Claire and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like a realization that it's not the same, but it's like a dream kind of
Yeah.
achieved. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
will.
that's huge.
Yeah.
There's something about seeing your name in print or online where it's, something like Harper's Bazaar, if it was something that was you something that you've always dreamed of having, it's such a shocking pinch me moment when you're actually able to accomplish something like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot has happened for my company and for myself this year. And, being mentioned on all these websites and, making all these connections. It's just like such a surreal feeling. But it's so satisfying when people actually meet you and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I love your work. Like when people tell me, oh my God, I love your work, I'm like, me? Like, me? Right? So
Yeah.
it's crazy, but it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, that's such a wonderful, humbling experience. I feel the same when someone will mention that they've heard of my brand or they have seen my Instagram feed before. I just think, really, like people read what I write? I had
Yeah.
no idea. I mean, thank you, but you just kind of sometimes are like, I didn't even think that anyone listened, but thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, for sure.
And so I know that things have really shifted in your industry and everything, but do you have something that you've been working towards or a big goal that you're looking to achieve within the next year?
Um, a big goal, that French chateau wedding, 100%.
Yep, yep, yep.
Feelers for that. I just think my goal for the next year is really to, put my brand on the map outside of Montreal, outside of Toronto, maybe nationally, internationally would be great.
Yeah,
Just so, when people think of Chic by Nicole, they think of a brand and they don't just necessarily think, oh, she's going to plan my wedding. They think about my designs, they think about my aesthetic. I think that would
yeah,
really be my goal for the next year, is just kind of putting the brand on the map.
yep,
And getting it kind of recognized, not to be famous, but just recognized by people looking for that kind of work. So,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. I love that so much. Do you have a quote or a motto that you live by?
Oh, I would say YOLO. Is
Yellow,
definitely my
yeah.
motto. My sisters, more than anything, would probably tell you that, if I want something, I usually just go get it because I just
Yeah,
feel like life is just so short.
yes.
Throughout my life, I've just just seen so many people go through so many things, sickness and, that kind of stuff. And I've just always lived with, you live for tomorrow, yes, but also live for today. Like, don't put today away for tomorrow. So I
Yeah.
would say that's probably my number one motto that I live by.
I love it. I love that so much. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that with me. And again, congratulations on all of your success
Thank you.
and just continuing on in this crazy year of, again, like your industry just being completely affected. But for you to still have a positive mindset, I'm sure that you are a really good person for your clients in this time of craziness, to give them inspiration and motivation to still be able to have their beautiful day, and that you can still be that anchor for them.
Definitely trying. I think one part of being a wedding planner people don't always count is that you're
Yeah.
like literally their coach. You're their
Yeah.
cheerleader, for the year or the 2 years you're together. So I'm hoping that I'm able to give my clients some hope, give them some direction, and we'll all get through this together.
Yeah, absolutely. The last question I want to ask you is, what is your favorite thing about being a female?
Oh, I think my favorite thing is just kind of having that intuition inside of us. Like, we know when something's awry, whether
Yeah.
it comes to like our careers, when it comes to our relationships, we have that gut feeling that I feel like men just don't have.
Yeah.
And I think that's our power source. Like, that is big. It
Yep.
keeps us out of trouble. Sometimes we go into trouble anyways, but I think that intuition is so important and so special, and trusting your gut is such an important thing in life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Female intuition for sure. It's very strong, and I feel, again, just going with your gut and going what your soul is telling you for sure is something that is really powerful within us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience?
No, but well, yes and no. But one thing I just want to say is thank you for having me today. And just
You're
thank you
welcome.
to everybody that supports little old me. Like, thank you for everybody who likes my posts and sends me DMs. And they might not be getting married, but they reach out and say, "Hey, when I do get married, I want you to be my planner." It's really encouraging. So
Oh, I love that.
thank everybody for the support, regardless.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that so much. Where can we find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Chic by Nicole. Website, same thing, chicbynicole.com. I also have a little thing called Pinterest, Chic by Nicole _
Oh, I bet you that's amazing. I can't wait to check that out.
There's still lots of ways to go on Pinterest. I can't be good at it all, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Nicole. I enjoyed our conversation. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, nice meeting you again. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.